And, all the lay guys, that'll happen. They just have to watch the video. Okay. So how'd that election turn out for you?
Great.
Hey, you're still voting? No matter who you vote for, the government always wins. You know what I mean? Even before, all right, I'll give you some behind-the-scenes stuff, and then we'll have some representatives of different groups who will say, what's up. Okay, do we have? Oh, they're so screwed. Do we have? We have C4L. Someone here from C4L had the card. He gave it to me, and it's next to my heart. And what's your name?
Ross Trumbull.
Ross, yeah, I've heard your name before. Ross Trumbull from the Campaign for Liberty. And there's supposed to be Young Americans for Liberty. Is anyone here from that?
Students for Liberty. Young Americans for Liberty wasn't able to make it. We're a little larger, so I'm sorry about that.
Students for Liberty. All right, we'll do that. The thing is that it's this has been my experience dealing with students. Since 1990, I started giving presentations at the student union and different groups would have. They had the, had a student affairs, come speak or whatever. This is what happens. It's always their second semester, their junior year, or their seniors, and all of a sudden they get worked up. What year are you now?
I'm a senior.
Of course. So by this May, he's gone. Now what? So there has never really been an organization that has cultivated from the freshman class. It has always been, as it always has been, it comes down to individuals. And for whatever reason, this is usually what happens. It's like, how many of you have seen the Matrix trilogy, through the whole thing? Okay. You remember the scenes where, Neo's in with the architect, and the architect's explaining, he goes, look, man, you're number 6. We go through this cycle all the time. We destroy Zion, we start it over, we do, they go, because whenever the one person gets up, they always think they're the first, they're going to go do some whip-ass. And what they don't understand is that the entire system knows there's going to be a Neo. It's the equation trying to balance itself. It's where everybody starts getting all kinds of, we're just upset, it's revolution, keeps coming around, that's why they call it revolution, and all of a sudden you get worked up and they come in and and then you go, oh, well see, you're just part of the program. You're just the steam valve. You're just, part of the equation balancing itself, and now we hit the reset button, the screen went blue, and we got to restart the computer.
Rainfall.
No.
That's going to be the new.
Not part of that one.
That's right. He just voted for the sanctions just this week on Iran.
Okay.
Blue screen reset.
Don't interrupt this. Oh yeah. At the end, Frank's going to be doing the raffle thing, and the door prize. Now this is what I brought. I have I brought a silver ounce of Freedom's Phoenix medallion. Okay, so that's at least $400 or $500 worth right there. Hard you know. So the thing is that just silver is now 34, 35. So we have one of these. Now some other cool things I have the original Atlas Shrugged movie. When we pushed for it to come to the Valley, and there's a long story behind that. The studio sent me on my birthday, a couple of years ago. They sent me FedEx. It's my birthday. We're having a big party and everything. And boom, here comes the FedEx thing with a bunch of original movie posters. So we have the Atlas Shrugged version and Who is John Galt? Okay. So when we do the drawings, you guys get to go back and you get first crack. You can have the medallion, or either one of the movie posters, and I brought some other books back there. One that might be, I think I brought it back there. We had a speaker one time, it was called Hitler's War. And it was critical of the Holocaust, or what, I can't remember. The guy, man, it was a big news deal when this guy came. And you guys remember his name? I can't remember. I'm sorry?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The reason I was interested in having him do a presentation was how hard the British government went to ban the publishing of his book. And I'm like, well, hell, I want to hear your story just from that. You know, what kind of, book can you write that, they're going to ban publishing the book?
What was the guy's name again, Ernie?
Irving, David Irving.
Oh, David Irving.
Didn't you have him at yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went
Yeah,
there.
he's a Holocaust denier kind of
Yeah,
thing. His thing was that they didn't kill 6 million, they only killed 100 or 200,000. Oh, okay. Well, shit, I guess it's okay. So anyway, it was interesting perspective, and I was more interested in his book. Well, his book is back there. I found it in my garage that he had brought. So if you want that, it's some history, and haven't read it, I don't really care. All right. This is what's going on. Well, go ahead and make sure when Frank gets done with his breakfast and so on that you get the drawing. We're going to do at least 6 winners, okay? 3 for the books and other stuff we got. Just go ahead and grab the stuff. And then number 6, the grand prize winner, make available is the silver medallion. But those movie posters are cool, okay? And those I've saved some for me, so because. This is what the big question is. This is what's going on. Now what? It's after election. Well, now what? When we started Glovolution, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, and that just took the world by storm. They went, what the heck just happened? It was a year or two before they really understood that, it started here in Phoenix with us. Whatever, it just kind of took off, and what we did is we seeded it. We created, for those of you new guys, are the ones that created the Ron Paul Evolution logo. And what happened is we opened a place up on North Central, and we just mass-produced a bunch of the signs, sent them around to libertarian activist friends that we had around the country, and they took that video, sent it to us, we started putting it up, and it inspired people. One of the most I thought was really creative was Memphis. Memphis did some stuff, New Hampshire was busy with different things, Southern California started to hit, and it just went stupid. Well, the thing was, it was a spontaneous order of something that was already pent up. And the Republican Party and the couldn't put a finger on who did it, what it was, how they could control it. It was all around this kind of, philosophical freedom, leave me aloneism of this old 70-something-year-old congressman nobody knew of from Texas. And they just couldn't put any credibility in it whatsoever. But they did one thing that I knew that they were making an enormous mistake. I don't know what else they could have done other than just ignore you like they do Gary Johnson, stuff like that. But they made the mistake of allowing Dr. Paul to get up on the stage to begin with. Because they thought what we had already learned from 98 to 2004. The Arizona Republican, the local media here, had made the conscious decision that they were going to target libertarians as being able to participate in the opinion pages on the Republic, be able to go and do the little 5-minute spiels on the network television, to get the coverage and go to the forums and all that kind of stuff. Because earlier, years before, from 92, 94, 96, we were real buttheads and threatening all kinds and suing and being pains in the butt. So their opinion was this. If we put the libertarian philosophy out for everybody to see, they'll go, oh, they're crazy. Especially while the press is okay. We do that. Then they'll go, look, these guys are crazy. They want to legalize, infants being able to store sevens, okay? Which is true. But, the point is that we can argue it, okay? Really what we're saying is like, well, if they don't get to, then who gets to decide? And under what criteria do they get to decide? So, this argument has continued for a long time. One was, we are in a situation now to where they're starting to feel the overwhelming sentiment of the planet is against the structure that they have created, which justifies them ruling you. So this is what happens. There is a thing, a good friend of mine goes, it's consensus reality. And I asked him, what do you mean? He goes, the world is all based on consensus reality. If everybody believes something to be so, then everything done is based on that belief as if it was true. But there's always an undercurrent. There's always a remnant. There's always the truth seeker, teller, doer, getter, wanter people. And those of us that have been activists for a long time have seen this. And I give you an example. In the early 90s, mid-90s, when they had hegemony over all the media and the information, you would, as a young activist, at the establishment and the media and go, how in the hell is it that they're able to say this stuff? You know it's a lie. They know it's a lie. They'll tell you they know it's a lie. But it doesn't matter. And the bigger the lie, the more easier it is to believe. I mean, that's what, the Nazi regime was all about. And if you tell a lie, tell a really big lie. And if you tell it often enough and loud enough, sooner or later it becomes the truth. So I'm going, okay. As a young man, I'm looking at Donna and I, we're doing all this stuff, we're going, wow, man, these are some whoppers. I don't know how long they're going to be able to hold this stuff. Financial situation. How many of you remember, the older guys, how many of you remember that 2012 was the fiscal cliff they were screaming about 20, 30 years ago? You guys remember that? Yeah. They did the math, they knew. You're going to have all these baby boomers going, entitlement things, but they just kept kicking it down. So this is what happens. As I'm going to groups and organizations, and I'm like, I just don't see this playing out to where you guys are going to be seen as the truth tellers. They didn't care. They just wanted to get what they always want to get, one more election cycle. And they'll do the same thing this time. After the November elections, this is last month, it already started. Oh my goodness. Pal Gamble screwed up the entire United States House. All right? He and a couple other libertarians around the country just effed it up for the whole GOP, and the entire country's going down because 6% belongs to them.
That's it.
Make a pound. 2% when we were doing it.
And Tim remembers back in early 90s, 80s, man, you've been around 70s. I mean, you were like, been libertarian for a long time.
I believe I ran on the don't vote platform.
That's right. That was what, of all of there were three main campaigns around the entire country to where the libertarian became, multiples of the difference between the Republican and Democrat, and the Republicans lost, and they blamed it on the libertarians. I've seen in large publications Pal's name. They have been talking, Pal, Arizona, freaking Pal. We all blame Pal, and here's his home address. Okay? And he's there with a lemonade stand going, come on down. All right? So this has been of interest to a lot of people. Now, let me tell you about some things that's going on. There is an organization, it's called the Anderson Reed Group, and it's a long story, but it's an economic discussion group that includes a bunch of Institute for Justice and Cato people and directors and stuff like that at the, hi baby, I think Goldwater Institute, and a lot of the Republican, we got lots of money, so we rule the people that rule you, so we really rule. Okay. Now these guys had already started Tom Jenny Americans for Prosperity. I tell you what it is. I'll just draw a line from the Koch brother money. It just goes right down. Okay.
Here.
So this is now. Of course, they try and make out like the Koch brothers are this bastion of freedom and libertarian freedom and stuff like that. But it's just their version of whatever. So what has happened is they're already circling the wagons for, well, obviously the electorate, they're to blame, and we need to cure them and campaign them and everything and get the right kind of conservative libertarian. We're with libertarian, all you libertarians, and that 6% better come over here, or you're going to keep getting Democrats, and we want to have Republicans, good Republicans, that's going to be in 2014. So as this is going on, I feel it. They only have between 25 to 30 people that are part of this club that go to this meeting. The only reason that I was invited to join this years ago is because the guy that started it over 30 years ago, Chet Anderson, just died a couple of years ago in his 90s. Just like Harry Everingham that started the Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club's been going around 40-something years. This is, these, man, even Janet Napolitano, spoke it here. I mean, all the congressmen, everybody, you had to touch the stone of the Breakfast Club or you didn't go on in politics. That's the way it was. And the reason that it kind of waned for a while is because of the internet. And now it's starting to come back up. We have, good meetings. Well, you get the truth, kind of, without all the crap propaganda here, or, well, I'm a propaganda minister of freedom, but, you get a lot of stuff you wouldn't get in other places. And what I wanted to do after the election this time is have some representatives of the young students and so on come and meet some of you guys, make sure everybody's invited to the party, and that you got to meet each other a little bit and you see what the plans are for the next year from all sides. I'm going to share that with you now. The money has already decided who the candidates are going to be. They come up and they said, we got to this, and they put some big criteria, kind of like the Ryan plan. We're going to have to this, entitlements, that, and we're going to, they're all full of shit, and that. And nothing they say means anything anyway, but they're going to try and convince you that you need to get behind the Republican candidate to do yada, 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 fill in the blank. And them damn libertarians are mucking it up, and it's all their fault, that they're pointing out that we're not freedom-oriented. They're not supposed to do that. The rhetoric is, we are more freedom-oriented than the Democrats. That's their game. We're not as communist as they are. Okay?
The reality is, it's a single party. It's two gangs basically deciding who gets 60% of the cut and who gets 40% of the cut.
Right. They're just crying fans. Gangs and flags.
And basically, that's all the Republicans are pissed at, is that they lost at least their dreams of getting the Senate 20% more in the Senate.
Well, it's also the administration appointments. It's ambassadors, and it's who the bureaucracy and who gets to go with whatever. There's a whole bunch of them. Either they're campaign consultants or they're bureaucrats, and they'll make the transition between the two. So it's so well known to the generation next. I mean, heck, all you gotta do is watch Jon Stewart and Colbert, and you gotta get a dose of what from the liberal side. Now, what has happened is I go like this. We have a meeting next week or two of this one group, and the big flame. Well, it's a place you can get and still wear a tie on a regular basis. Okay. Oh, well, heavens of Murgatroyd. I tend to disagree with my young associate over here. In a nice way, saying you're full of crap and you should listen to them. So it goes back and forth. Well, this is what happened. Big money. A lot of guys and organizations came out and very clear, we're going to blah, blah, and I read through the crap and I go, okay, so let me get this straight. This is going to be a get out the vote Republican thing, right? I mean, that's what you're wanting us to do. In the end, 2 years from now, on this list of this group, all this money and resources, you're going to want the libertarians and the freedom movement, and C4L, and the students, and the Lovolution, and Freedom Phoenix, and all this stuff, and me, and the show, and all that. You want us to support whoever you guys already have picked, which you picked a long time ago. And Kyrsten Sinema going in this new district, super communist, okay? An incumbent is never more vulnerable than their first election, okay? Now I had meet a lot of people I'd just rather not, say, people that know, and then this is what they came up with. They said, Ernie, they've already decided. Okay, so in the exchange, when this started, I go like this. I said, all right, let me tell you what compromise Ernie's willing to make. What if Mark Victor commits to running for Congress in the District of Pallersdale? What if he registers Republican, which he did yesterday, by the way? What if Mark Victor registers Republican and runs as the Republican nominee against Kyrsten Sinema? Now, all you guys know Mark. All you guys know that the Lovolution and CPRL and all I can whatever give him kind of an eye, a voice, talk to him. And he brings in a coalition of the drug people and the libertarian freedom-oriented kind of and all the sex workers and the prostitutes and the criminals. I mean, whatever. Anyway, so you go all these freedom leave me aloneism kind of people. All of a sudden they start going, yes, finally a Republican carrying the torch of freedom. Then what are you guys going to do? You're going to run, wrap arms and legs around them? You're going to embrace that? You're going to be the guys, advocate, yeah, we're for freedom now? Oh, and what if Ron Paul endorses them? What then? I go, oh, but I already know. You guys already got somebody picked, don't you? You already know what you're going to do. It's already, so that's not even, so let me give you, a for instance. For instance, Mark Victor runs as a Republican in that district. And in the primary, you put up somebody else. How are they going to compare to his libertarian rhetoric? What positions are they going to have that's going to be better and more freedom-oriented than Mark? What are the freedom-oriented people going to be doing? And then, if he loses, versus Powell running as a libertarian, how much are you going to add to that 6%? You're so toast 2 years ahead of time, and you guys don't even understand why. Well, we're going to have that discussion at their meeting. Then Craig Cantoni is an author and a columnist for the Republic. I don't know if he still writes columns for him or not here in Scottsdale. But you see him on Freedom's Phoenix. He goes by the Macon's Ghost. Okay? You'll see the columns that he writes up there. Well, he does that under a pseudonym without using his name. I used to have his picture. Take my picture down. Because, he's, gets reprises, okay? In his business, and his wife's business, and all that kind of stuff. So, he does a lot of writing. You want the microphone, baby? Intelligent minds got to occupy themselves. So, Craig writes back and he goes, he's very cynical about the whole thing, even the youth, because his son goes to the University of Arizona, and he's like, man, they're all brain dead. Student body, teachers, faculty, it's done. And I'm going, I don't know, one, you're probably looking in the wrong place. And two, because he goes, I went to my attorneys and accountants, spent $3,000–4,000 on them to restructure, because when all this tax stuff hits and Obamacare and all that kind of stuff, they're screwed. And the only way that they can get out of all of this stuff is that right now, at a young age, they have to sign over all their assets to their son in college. Bad idea. But that social and economic engineering of the government has put in such a way that they are much better off giving it to him now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Social and economic engineering. What they're really doing is they want to have as much funnel in to government, IRAs, 401ks, retirement daylight, whatever, so they can do what with the money? They're going to take it. They just did it in France, I think. This is what's coming, and it's inevitable. Now, my response is, over the years, Don and I have invested in friends, knowledge, and silver. So I'm going, it's, and these young people know that too. Friends, associations, where can I go and live and farm and survive and keep breathing in and out longer than the bad guys and make it through the zombie apocalypse that be a-coming, okay? That's what they're going to do. And, oh my goodness, I understand silver. So they don't have a delusion that somehow this system is just going to keep going on. When now they're trying to even promise to have a job is get a degree that costs them, tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to come out with the debt and no job. This is happening right, not later. So what do they plan to do? They don't know. They still are in the mindset that this the Arizona Republic, aka the new penny saver on your driveway, they believe that to be consensus reality.
Yes, they do.
They believe the newspapers and the radio and the television to be consensus reality. Because they control that, and that's all they know, that's all they think. And they will even lie to themselves, as they did with Romney poll numbers, saying how he was going to win. A lot of the guys knew there wasn't a chance in hell.
Echo chamber.
They are their own echo chamber.
Yeah.
So what they're meeting to decide the future of Arizona, and really just to tell you what that future has already been decided, okay, what's really going on, is exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to sit there and be quiet, and I'm a bumper sticker guy. So whatever comes out of today in our conversation will be, I don't know, one sentence that I'll just go, and this is what's really going to happen. We've been doing this for decades. I remember in December of 1993, I got called in by the Arizona editorial board. And Rick Tompkins, Tim probably remembers this. It was Rick Tompkins who was chair, and I wasn't even libertarian, yet. It was like November, because I had become libertarian because of my lawsuits. It's a long story. But what happened was, I sat there at editorial board in Arizona Republic. There was probably a dozen editors. And they went like this. All right, because we started doing newspaper, Citizens Taking Initiative. And we were driving all of the issues, just like, now this is what we're going to talk. We don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about Islamofascism or something, okay? So we want to talk about the Fed and the war and debt and this and, no, we don't want to talk about that. We want Obama and Romney up there talking about stupid crap, okay? And I remember in '88 when I first came aware, it was Dukakis versus Daddy Bush, and to me, aside from Willie Horton got out, just whatever, it was a stupid thing. But the big number one issue was the flag burning amendment. We got to have a constitutional amendment, Sieg Heil! So I could see that it was all based on propaganda and BS. It was like Nazi Germany all over again, and I could see it coming. Tell you this one thing, Don and I hadn't told you guys about our grandparents' day at preschool. Did I tell you about that? Okay, so this was after last meeting. I got to tell you this, man, I've been on this one. It was a few weeks ago. Don and I went, 3-year-old granddaughter, first granddaughter. I have a son, and 2 other granddaughters. We have 4 grandkids so far. Our first grandchild, when she was in my daughter-in-law's womb, is when they passed the TARP. When they passed the TARP, by the way, I went and saw the movie last night, Killing Them Softly with Brad Pitt. I have no idea what that movie was about. But the entire time during that movie, it was in the background, every television had McCain and Obama going on during the 2008 election, and they were talking about the TARP. Oh, we got to pass a financial crisis, this and that. The whole time. I'm reliving TARP last night. Why? I have no idea what the hell is going on. And every now and then he'd kill somebody. Wrong guys. Anyway, so I had the TARP gets passed. My first granddaughter's in the womb. The parents didn't, my son and his wife had the opportunity to make a decision on whether they wanted to bring in a life based on whatever the current situation was or whatever. All of a sudden, she's conceived, and then boom, they said, you know what? We're going to naturally socialize the economy. Sorry, we didn't tell you that before, but we're going to have Nazi financial, get over it. Okay. So while my granddaughter's in the womb, all of a sudden she gets a $30,000, $40,000 rock put in her backpack. She gets born, got it on you. You're an indentured servant, man. You're a slave. So we put up at 9 locations, we did 3 at a time, all over the valley, big billboards. Some of you guys may remember them. It said, "It's not my debt," Freedom's Phoenix, and it had a baby, 3 babies with barcodes on their butt being scanned over a grocery scanner. Had one that was in the womb, one baby in the womb, and Clear Channel wouldn't even put that one up. I had to go to CBS Outdoor. Clear Channel would not have a fetus in the womb. It says, "Not my debt, it's a financial thing." You go, nice. What? Whatever. So this is, all this controversy was around this. And we did signs that said, "It's not my debt," the kind of stencil hand signs that we did. Then, when they did the vote for the TARP, it lost. It was defeated, the first one. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I did a poll on Freedom's Phoenix, and this is all email exchanges I did with this group. I did a poll. I only do polls probably like a dozen times in 7 years, okay, on Freedom's Phoenix. Because we have a little app that has a poll that you can take. When it reached about 200 responses, then I shut it down. And I get the response. Because if I leave it up longer, then it gets spammed by everybody and their grandma wanting to vote, whatever. And it'd be, 99.3% say Ron Paul is, savior or something like that. So, you need to keep it a low number because it gets, here comes the Ron Paul people. So what happened was I go, all right, I put it up and I said, how long do you think before the TARP is going to be brought back? And I gave choices, when the media has more time to do this, when congressmen are bribed a little more, when this, that, when that. And then one of the responses was, hell, it's already written, be introduced, and passed by the end of the week. That was 57%. Because we all knew it was going to happen. It's the same thing that's going to happen this month. Fiscal cliff. And who are they going to blame? You, pal. You son of a bitch. You are too dumb to know that you should have picked the lesser of evils and this is going to happen, blah, 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 blah. And they're going to need the Republican GOP-controlled House to do it. And they're going to do it. And they're going to keep doing it. What's Tim Geithner out there saying right now? Anybody know?
Infinity.
No more debt ceiling. how is it that every year or two, it's debt ceiling when we know we're going to do it anyway, let's just, quit pretending and just get rid of it. Okay?
That's why it will never be paid back. You can't pay.
Of course it's never going to be paid back. So what's going to happen? So whoever gets this silver medallion, oh, you're going to make some money. You'll make some money on that one. That's going to go to the moon. We remember when silver used to be double digits. So this is, what is the goal of, any of us as individuals over the next year or two? My whole thing has been to keep breathing in and out longer than the bad guys. That free market economics always trump all these controls. Sooner or later, it'll crash and it'll be something else. And an educated young, Generation X, a populace that is interconnecting, just like brain, neurons and the synapses are all starting to get in line, kind of boom, connecting, brings up planet. This has happened as a generation across the planet, even into Iran. So this Arab Spring thing is not over yet. Remember 2 years ago, we were hammering. We have Hurriya Phoenix, which is Arabic for Freedom's Phoenix, Hurriya Phoenix, Facebook and Twitter for Freedom's Phoenix. We shipped a bunch of stuff over. We know the truth in Arabic, the revolution, all this kind of stuff. Why? Because we knew if we could convince them that they don't need Pharaoh number 300 and whatever, that they own themselves and that concept in the next generation, they can keep doing whatever they're going to do and it doesn't make any difference. They know when they got bad government. That's what the Declaration of Independence was about. When they are abusive to these ends, okay, when government's not defending individual rights, that's their purpose of existence. When they're not doing that, they're bad. And you replace it and do another one. Based on what? I don't know. When they're bad. How do you know when they're bad? When they won't leave you alone. This is no more complicated than that. But the old Republican establishment thinks that they can keep winning and get your support by not being as bad as them when they have the same lobbyists on both sides. So what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? The youth, how, in a year or two, you're gone doing whatever. You have the other young guys that say, oh yeah, we'll be there because they don't show. This is typical. But like what Dr. Paul said, he goes, I tried the moral argument, didn't work. I tried the constitutional argument, didn't work. But I'm going to win this economic argument. Then what? Is there some voting strategy you're going to do? And just to be butt heads, what a lot of people know, this is also what I included in the emails. About a week and a half, on Friday, get a surprise call. I was going to call him later. We had arranged that Friday afternoon we were going to talk and so on. All of a sudden he calls, Donna answers it, and he wants to come on the air right then, a week ago Friday. It was Jeff Deist, which is Ron Paul's chief of staff in the congressional office in Washington. Well, a lot of people don't know is I've known Jeff for a long time. He was not there from the January 07 through the 08 campaign. He was not there. He went to Southern California. Donna was even looking for a home for him in Tucson at one time. He was off making money in the private sector because they just had a child and he needed more money. Well, after Lazar, what's-his-face left, Jeff came and became his chief of staff up through the end of this month. Well, I've always known Jeff to be an honorable guy. You want to get something done, you call Jeff, and he has Ron Paul's ear. You want to know who the head SOB in charge of getting information to Ron? It was Jeff. So all these years, I never said anything about, my little backdoor kind of, whatever, because I've known Jeff from, when we used to, before people knew who Ron Paul was. When we needed Ron Paul for Freedom Summit, we needed Ron Paul for the radio, we needed Ron Paul, some event, we're going to a meeting and whatever, find out what's going on. So Jeff was our conduit behind the scenes of just a friend, this is what's up. Didn't talk to him, certainly during the Revolution years, he wasn't even there. But of late, the communication I've had with Ron has been through Jeff. Because and he's like on the show, he's like, yeah, we got to get Ron on your show. And never even invited Ron to come on my show. You would think, the creator of the Lovelace logo, all that kind of stuff, no Ron going around, that I would have Ron come on my show. Why? So I can say how much I hate voting? Why are you messing with the cesspool? Get out the vote? You know, got to get involved and go be precinct, take care of them over and control of? Really? You know, I don't want to save the GOP. I'm looking for a wooden stake and a mallet. You know, I don't care. So what am I going to talk to him about? And he goes, Ernie, and this is where it went postal. Michael Nystrom of Daily Paul and I had a long conversation a few days ago. We'll be doing some stuff together. Over the years, behind the scenes, a lot of people that have, you know, been experienced or seen what's happening more as a mood, as a flavor, than as a political movement. It is a cultural thing. You know you can't steer it any way other than just provide a service like Daily Paul does and Freedom's Phoenix. The people have to understand and go through it. Like Tim and I and Michael and a lot of the guys here has been around, you know, for 20 years. We've seen the cycles. It's all built up. We go to work. Oh, we're gonna win. We're gonna get double digits. We're gonna look, man. You just be happy they even, you know, spelled your name right. You know, and we're just how many minds can we free? Well, Jeff made it clear, and what got it massive downloads on Daily Paul, this show that I did with Jeff, because for the first time, people got to see what Ron Paul's real objective is over the next couple of years. He's going to be president of C4L, but he's not going to be running it. He's going to be pushing his own appearances at campuses. He's going to they have a professional PR firm that's taking him on, that he's going to get some paid gigs, and he's going to be doing some free ones, depending on whichever ones he likes. And he's going to be going out and doing the mind-freeing thing, because he knows what's coming. It's financial collapse. And when that happens, all of a sudden, Ron Paul, all this voting thing ain't going to mean shit. Your wallet, your feet, your stomachs. So any structure that you're going to have, if it's not serving that, you know, you're going to be discarded and not supported. So I'm going, all right, so what role would Ron play in something like what Mark Victor does? Well, he let leak out, and I thought was kind of secret information, but on the air he says, oh yeah, Mark's going to be meeting with Ron this January in Houston. We sharing that with everybody, are we? Chief of Staff. Okay? So what is the response of the GOP? Would they embrace that? Would they see an opportunity for a good, strong, you know, freedom-loving individual to go, hell no? So why would we do it? To point out that they're going to go, hell no. So where's the future? Is it a vote thing? Do you trust it? This Kucinich come on in mid-October.
Yeah.
We had Phil Donahue on. That was interesting. Got to go to Obama. Okay. And I thought you were anti-war. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in him, but we got to go to Obama. All right. Well, next. Okay. So that was, you know, painful interview. Kucinich was so impressed with, you know, who we are and what we've done and all that. He goes, "Can I?" Absolutely. Get your butt back on. So Kucinich came back. Talked to Jeff on air about this. There is a coalition of Kucinich and Ron Paul that's going to be working together in various organizations they create. Oh, and Ron Paul has created his own organization for him, personally. Him going, not C4L, not, you know, him, okay? Not for the directors, him. It's called FREE. There's a Freedom, Reason, Economic Education or something like that, okay? It's free. So, yeah, that's where this is going. What role are you going to play in that? What do you think was going to happen? You're going to get a shiny badge? You're going to be head of the Republican de la whatever? You're going to control and do what they're going to do? The Republican Party didn't even control the ballot. Hitler, Mao Zedong, Stalin goes in and registers, does like Mark does. I'm Republican now. Now what? So you see, they don't control. They think they do, but they really don't. You do. The Mood does. Generation Next does. Kucinich and Dr. Ron Paul have been meeting. We just found out, Jeff was saying that they've been regular meeting in Washington, D.C., and their whole thing is that they are going to take on the anti-war cause in this country. So what does that mean, though? Our experiences over at Air America tell us this. Kucinich has his own constituency. It's the progressives, the real progressives. The progressives that believe that we need to redistribute and do whatever, okay? But, you know, they're not, I don't know, two-faced at least. I mean, they're consistent, you know. So they're consistently want your money, but I'm not going to try whatever. But we do agree on the war thing. So Kucinich's group, now when we were at Air America, you could see there was the Democrat crowd. You know, they didn't care, just whichever, you know, Hillary, Obama, whichever gets nomination were Democrats. But Kucinich had his own crowd. True believers kind of guys. They are willing to work with hardcore, no compromise, in your face, free market libertarians in one overlapping goal: ending the wars. So what happens when you have Mark Victor, say, as a Republican, endorsed by Dr. Paul, going around speaking over drug toting, smoking, you know, sex working, whatever, okay? Talking about that freedom thing and anti-war thing, where are the Republicans to be? You see my point? I am shocked that this war thing hasn't been a bigger deal. Because by then, we may be at war with Iran, and that will be a huge mistake.
Ernie, this partnership between the Kucinich people and the Ron Paul people, is it going to go beyond any of the wars to try to reduce the defense budget to something reasonable and logical?
There's no reasonable, logical government anything. You know, the monopoly of force. What's that little monopoly of force? I mean, you know.
If anybody has iTunes, which probably most people do, if you subscribe to, oh my gosh, who's the guy?
Can you speak up, please?
The guy, Ron Paul's buddy in the Libertarian Party, Lou
Ron,
his iPod. He just interviewed Ron Paul. And Ron Paul talks about this.
Well, what did he say?
He didn't go into big detail, but he said that he meets with Dennis Kucinich a lot. They're buddies, and basically what they said was now that they're both out of Congress, they're much freer and aren't restricted by so many rules that they can do more things to.
Dennis told me he
more
wouldn't
work
say.
done.
He goes like this. He says, "I can't say on this phone," wherever that meant. Okay, that he was. Is he going to run in 2016? Because he ran in 2004 and 2008 for president. So there is enough of a movement that. But you got to understand, I have no faith in the actual electoral accuracy counting voting process. Okay, I couldn't possibly care less about that. It's just an opportunity for the attention you can get in changing people's thought processes. We saw that happen. Well, you wrong. It's over. You guys didn't win. You didn't get anything. You didn't. And I'm like, wow, where the hell have you been? You got an entire generation with a whole different thought process and access to at least know what the questions are to ask. They know where to go to get the answers. There you have all the rock stars that are now were people that we had from 2001, you know, up until the Revolution that were speaking at Freedom Summits. We knew what was coming. So now what? That's what I want to talk about. We're going to go ahead and have the gentlemen come up here and they give their spiel about their organizations, what they plan, what they're going to be doing. But I wanted to prep them with this information because they may not have known it. There is going to be a coalition between the real progressives that want the same things that libertarians want. Equality under the law. Peace. Everybody be left alone. Free to do whatever you want in your own life, data, blah, blah, blah. It's just how we're going to get there. Libertarians are like, you did away with the government. We're there already as far as we're concerned. You know, progressives, no, we're going to pass a law to make it happen. And we'll be in charge, you know. But I see, just like when we go to the tea parties and we pass out thousands of DVDs, and we're getting, here, you need to watch, Obama Deception and Freedom to Fascism. That's a good combo right there. They watch that, man, they're, whoa, at least they understand, you may not convince them, but at least they understand why you're so convinced. Then we go to the Occupy movements, Occupy Philly, Occupy Washington, D.C., New York, Phoenix, Atlanta. We were all over sending this stuff all over different groups that we had, thousands and thousands of DVDs. And what happened? I can't believe you're going to support the Occupy. Why are you going down there? Why? Target-rich environment, just like the Tea Party people. They give them thousands of DVDs. What? These young people that are probably on average 30, 40 years younger, they don't want to have from this information? Of course they did. To the point that Soros and company and the Democrats and the machine on the left, they were freaked out and not so supportive of this anymore, because what they didn't realize is that the gathering and the grouping of these people were taken advantage of by us. And they go, holy crap, that didn't work out the way we thought it would. That is where the change is.
In this download, the iPod thing from Lou Rockwell and Ron Paul, I second what you're saying. Ron Paul made crystal clear he's going after the young. He's going to the campuses, and he's changing the minds of the young. And it's not even changing the minds of the young. It's that the young want to hear it, and that's where we're headed. I think that's where he sees our saving.
Well, look what he's seen.
Exactly.
Over the years, he always knew, one, it had to be young, and it had to have music. We got both, all right? The other thing is he goes, you know, I've been doing this a long time. I've been waiting for this to come, and what he has seen has been so encouraging to him personally that he's not wasting time with the older people either. You hear me saying, I know it pisses all you guys off, which is why I say it. I'm just waiting for these guys to die off. Next, generation next. All of a sudden, I never felt like the old guy. I'm 51. I always felt like the young guy, because I was always dealing with these guys that are, you know, always 20, 30 years older than me, even when I was, you know, in my 20s. And as it goes up, I'm still going up here. All of a sudden, I got this entire generation next down here that knows forgotten more about Austrian economics than I've ever even freaking read. And they are coming, I'm going, oh, you guys don't see it. Like I've been saying, you die off, here comes the bill. And then what? I don't know. There's always a perpetual trying to keep it going, bureaucracy, control, grid of they, them, those. And I'm going, it doesn't matter. How do you recognize they, them, those? They're the ones that won't leave you alone. So it's become easier with the internet. They have to get control of the internet. What do they want to do now? United Nations wants to take over the internet. Yay. But what are we going to do? We just put up our own satellites. That's what this private space program, Pal and I, you know, cover all the time. You know, Spaceship One, Government Zero, he came up with that at my home. We made and watched Band of Brothers all weekend while we were making the signs that we went out there to show and went all over the planet. Spaceship One, Government Zero, stand on top of the spacecraft. First one, human in space without government money. Elon Musk from PayPal, do you know what his stated mission is now, what he's doing? 80 people on a Mars colony. 80,000. 80,000 a year. The money shot that he's going, this Falcon X, Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy, all of these launches that he's been doing, he's the one, the private one that's supplying the International Space Station now with the Dragon capsule. See, you don't know any of this stuff because they never tell you on the news. It's not, you'll hear about every freaking shuttle delay because of weather, but you won't hear about the private space program. So what happens is he's going, it's all over the internet now. Wired Magazine, Popular Science, Elon Musk, the whole reason that he's doing this, the whole reason since he was a kid, the whole reason he did PayPal, the whole reason he got his billions, the whole reason, because he wanted to go to Mars, and this is his money shot. He's sending a capsule that's going to go land on Mars. It's already got seeds planted in a hydroponic kind of, you know, greenhouse thing goes. And he wants the web camera to have a high-definition picture of a green plant growing with the red Mars landscape in the background. Money shot, brought to you by Freedom's Phoenix. So this is going to be, oh yeah, I'm going to tag that like a sumbitch. That comes out, I got it. So this is going to be the future. These guys up here, not having a clue what's coming, think that they can control all of this mood, this culture that's coming. What role are you guys going to play? Well, we're going to find out. And just so you know, Ron knows everything that I just said. He's already articulated it. He's gone on Alex Jones. He's done it on Lou Rockwell. You know, I get his chief of staff call me, make sure that we knew. They want to explain it. And how is C4L and Students for Liberty and YAL and all these groups going to jive with that? Or are they looking to get a shiny? Do you really see what's coming? Do you see what Ron has seen what's coming since he went into Congress in the 70s? He's been doing this a long time, and he understood He's going to win the economic argument, and he's trying to save an entire country by going to the Generation Next. Let's hear from some Generation Next. Go ahead and introduce yourself and where you're
All right, my name is Blaine Peterman, and I'm with Students for Liberty at ASU. It's one of the largest pro-liberty student groups in the United States. Now, Students for Liberty, it's a nonprofit, it's a 501c3. So what we really try to do is try to educate students on the importance of liberty and free markets in society. We do this by starting student groups at universities throughout the United States. Even right now, I'm helping strengthen and improve the group at University of Arizona and starting one from scratch at Northern Arizona University. Now, what now? What now? So what Students for Liberty is doing after the elections and even before the elections, we weren't really that interested in the election in the first place. We were interested in one thing and one thing only. Educating students on the ideas that are contrary to the liberal professors at ASU. It's filled with, it's pretty bad. So in order to do this, for example, we get funding, we get books from the Mises University, we get funding and books from FEE, IHS, Students for Liberty itself even has books they put out. We had regional conferences where we brought in people from the Ayn Rand Institute. We had regional conferences where we brought in speakers from around the United States that were these incredible professionals. We even had Michael Fields come in teaching people about their rights and how to flex your rights before Halloween and talk to the police and protect yourself. Now, I think one thing, this is really going to help students and it's going to help the future. It really gives me hope because our group, our nonprofit, has grown from nothing in 2007 to having over 2,000 people at our last regional conferences who actually were interested and loved them. They came in moderate libertarians and they left passionate pro-liberty, just warriors, I would almost say, for the liberty movement. And even beyond this, our International Students for Liberty Regional Conference is going to even be on, I know I don't like Fox either, but it's going to be featured on the Don Stossel show. So, I mean, I just see that as something we're taking hold of. We're actually improving and we're helping society. And with Ron Paul, we had held Ron Paul on our campus in 2008, I think it was. I'm not exactly sure. And we had Gary Johnson just this year. I helped organize that. And we would love to have Ron Paul. We loved him last time. We'll love him again. He had over 3,000 people, I think, at the last one, which that's pretty awesome. So, yeah. I would just say for all of us, for everyone in general, just keep on being passionate, pro-liberty people you are. Keep being brilliant. Thank you.
What's your major?
I majored in finance and economics.
Thank you.
They teach you, the good economics, do they?
There's our faculty advisor. Her name's Nancy Roberts. She's one of the entire economics program there is mostly classical and pro. They do tend to focus more like the econometrics and a lot of the what ifs, I would say. Wow. I think that the university itself kind of dictates what they're going to be teaching more than they should. So. Yeah, it's something we're fighting on. Even the Leadership Institute, they're more conservative, but they do have something that we kind of use. If a teacher is teaching too much of her own liberal bias, they bring in someone from the Leadership Institute to videotape them, and they get them in trouble, which is kind of nice.
When we were doing radio, I got an intern from the Walter Cronkite journalism school there.
That's awesome. She's.
Oh no, this was back in the day.
All right.
In 03, 04. Her name was, I can't remember. She looked like Gina Davis. Jennifer. Her name was Jennifer. She's cute. She's from a ranching family in Payson. She married a branch manager of the bank, and she always wanted to go into a think tank thing. Eventually she, as my intern, I made a deal with her, what I would do to sign off on her or whatever. And she went to work for the Goldwater Institute for a while until she had a baby. And I lost touch with her. She was very much like this. She got all the work. She wanted to do some freedom stuff and work for, a libertarian radio show and do, but, interns, they don't really want to work, and they don't want to, really understand what's really going on. She wanted to move up in the think tank thing. And I go, all right. So, we'll work it out. But for me to sign off on it, pass your whatever paper you want to fill out, I'll sign. I don't care. You write whatever, I'll sign it if you do one thing. You need to be published on a freedom-oriented, some paper, I'll get you in contact, editorial page editors and all this stuff. Finally, she did. As an ASU student, she did a paper that was published in the East Valley Tribune. It was a nice article, and it talked about the voter registration of all of the faculty. It was all Democrat. Every one of them, it was progressive, blah, 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 this. You went on the description of some of the teachers, the organizations they belonged to, all that it was enormously a liberal bias if you got an education at Arizona State University.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like a giant shock to anybody. You know, it wasn't, you know, but oh man, that thing went planetary, and this is before social media hit. That was all published all over the country. I said, well, there you go. Go order institute right over there. and she went working for them. So, you know, so that is the kind of experiences that I've had over the years with students at ASU. They're just like everybody else. They, you know, especially when you're young, what's the thing you're most worried about? I don't know, whether getting married or finding a girl to practice being married or something. I mean, you know, it's, you know, so this is, you know, there's a lot of focus. You want to get a job. You want to, you know, have some reinforcement of your self-esteem. You want to feel good about yourself. You want to make friends. You want to party. You want to, you know, be respected. You want to whatever. And the culture has worked in such a way to make you think that to get that and attain that, it's the right car, it's the right philosophy, it's the right group, it's the right everything else except what really matters. Do you advocate for your own self-ownership and respect that of everybody else's? Everything else flows from that. It's no more complicated than that. But they want to make you think it's more complicated than that. You do that, and then everybody wants to be your friend. Or at least you're not a sworn enemy.
I'd like to ask Blaine, what is the difference between your group and the Young Americans for Freedom or Young Republicans?
Well, Students for Liberty, we tend to focus more on philosophy and economics and teaching people more of the ideas. We don't tend to focus on politics at all. Just the importance of liberty in Austrian economics. Young Americans for Liberty is more political. They tend to have, like, they had a Constitution Week, and they had debates between like a Democrat, Republican, and Libertarian, where they brought in a guy from, I think it was Freedom Works. They brought in J.B. Freer, and they one of them was a Libertarian. He was a he was, and they brought in a Democrat as well, Anna Kournikova, which I got a lot of television response, and I think the one goal they have is to try to make libertarianism more apparent to everybody, and at least people know what it is.
And does your group take a definite stance on a return to the gold standard?
Our group doesn't. We don't take many political stances. Young Americans for Liberty takes a lot more. I personally, I would believe in it. I don't like the Fed, obviously.
Thank you.
But I think our only goal is to just get more pro-liberty people. I mean, we have even a lot of Rothbardians in our group.
A lot of what?
Rothbardians.
Murray Rothbard,
anarcho-capitalist.
Ernest Hancock with a degree.
Hey, he's pro-liberty. That's great.
No, I keep getting, you're such a Bardian, you know, you're just Rothbard. Is that an insult or something? So I start reading the stuff, I go, hell yeah. Ross Trumbull is the state coordinator for Campaign for Liberty, so he probably knows a couple of things about what they're planning on doing. This is going to be one of, at least for a period of time, a lot of people the next year or two are going to be going, what does Campaign for Liberty say about fill in the blank? They're going to be looking to these guys to see what role they're going to play. But I want to make it clear, I always understand, it always comes down to individuals. Because sooner or later, you know, the organization always becomes more important than the reason it was created. You know, this always happens. So I'm just going, you know, all right, so why was it created? And what are you trying to spark? What are you going to be doing? Because starting January, the machine's already going to be geared to give you the choices you're going to have.
Yeah.
Other than what we're going to do. Yeah. Ross.
Thank you. I just want to say, first of all, a few reasons that I'm actually standing here today are people sitting in this room. I really don't like politicians. And I started to discover that through doing work on some of the issues that I found important, I really like kind of getting in and messing with the politicians and, you know, acting as a surrogate for all of you guys and telling them, you know, this is what's going to happen if you vote this way and that sort of thing. But when I came out of college with my political science degree, I wanted nothing to do with politics at all. So I went and worked in the financial world, and then after working in the financial world, I realized, holy crap, this politics stuff really matters. Because I went through the collapse of the mortgage market, I went through the collapse of the financial market, I worked for big corporations, and I could not sleep at night with the things that I was asked to do at work. I sleep better working with politicians than I do in those corporations. And that's saying a lot, okay? You know, there are a few moments that kind of got me out of my shell and realized I need to get involved and do some things, and Campaign for Liberty became the organization that that really cultivated all the issues that I found to be important. But, you know, one of them was a YouTube video that Jason here made. And it was around Christmas time, and I wanted to be part of something that was fun, that was, you know, also going to make a difference. And the work that we've done in this state on the photo radar and red light camera issue in particular has spread throughout the country because of things that Jason's done, things that Ernie's done, things that I've been lucky enough to do.
You mean Sheldon, for those that don't know who Jason is.
Yeah. And also, you know, Michael Kielski over here, with all the great work that he did in educating us on how the process and the courts work with the light camera issue. So I just want to say thank you to you guys, because I've never actually had a chance to do that. And so thank you. I appreciate it. Campaign for Liberty. Campaign for Liberty does great work in this state. Okay, and that's my biggest concern, is the state of Arizona. I can't control what happens in Washington, D.C. I don't want to pretend that I'm ever going to be able to do that, but I can make an impact here in Arizona, and so can all of you. And so Campaign for Liberty is not going to be for everybody. This is for people who are going to be willing to work within the system to try to make a few changes. And the way I see it is these guys here is coming, and we've got to continue to be as loud and as stern as we are. And I don't like compromises either. So as soon as somebody takes my bill and starts messing with it and picking it apart, I don't want that bill to get passed anymore. The issues that we're working on right now actively are the photo radar red light camera issue. We want them banned throughout the state. There are 16 other states that have full bans. They are illegal in those states. I want them illegal in Arizona. And I'm not going to accept anything less. So I just want you to know that that is the type of person that does work for Campaign for Liberty. And there are a lot of me's out there throughout the country. So I just want you to know that. It's important. The other issue, big issue, is TSA. Many of you probably saw the TSA bill go through the House in the state of Texas. Unanimously passed. It got held up by someone named David Dewhurst, and we all saw what happened to him. That was because of what he did to the TSA bill. He would probably won that election if it wasn't for what he did. So we have an impact. We do. I don't want you to think that we don't. We have model legislation, and we're going to be running it in Arizona in the next legislative session. So right now it's being vetted to make sure that the language matches up with Arizona revised statutes and all that. So that's issue number 2. Issue number 3 that we're going to go after is, and now we're kind of in a holding pattern, is the NDAA.
What?
There was some legislation that just went through. I haven't even had time to really look through it, but you know, again, Texas had a bill that they were using to push back on the NDAA. That's something I think that we can really do on the state level. We'll see how what was just voted on in the U.S. Senate, we'll see how that pans out and how that really works. But you know, there are more issues out there, but we only have so much time. And the reason why I use my time and treasure to work for Campaign for Liberty is because I believe in the issues that they are fighting for. And like Ernie said, it comes down to the individual. I have my morals and values, and they align with what Campaign for Liberty is doing, and I'm just thankful that I've been given the chance to use their resources to fight for what I think is important.
If we were to support efforts of C4L, get involved, we know a lot of people, you know, that we know that are working with C4L and so on. One, what would we be expected to do? How would we help? And what is the organization, you know, obligations you have to C4L if you participate with it?
Okay. Well, you know, we're all busy folks. We all have lives, and we all have jobs and families, and we need to make a living. So there is no set level of expectations of what you need to do if you were to get involved with Campaign for Liberty. But if you get involved and you say that you're going to do something, we expect you to follow through. And so when we need help with, say our legislation goes to committee for the red light cameras, and you say that, you know what, I'm going to make a phone call, I'll send an email, and I'll get some of my friends to do that. We expect you to do that because we need that help. We don't have a ton of money. We don't have, you know, the high-powered lobbyists behind us. Our lobbyists are me. Our lobbyists are a couple of the other guys like Matt Pappy and John Laurie and Sean Dow. Those are the guys that are out there fighting, and we've got our constitutions.
Well, your money comes from, I mean, I joined C4L, it goes to the Central Collective, and they, you know, kick some down to you, or what?
You know, honestly, the money that we have, we've made through our own events and that sort of thing. What Campaign for Liberty does for us is when we need an email sent out to 5,000 people, they will send it for us. It's not cheap to send an email to 5,000 people, and they'll also look over it and make sure that we're saying the right things and that we're not, you know, making a mistake with our language, especially when it comes to the legal stuff, because this is legislation. And if we get something wrong, you know, the statists will find their end around it no matter what we do. But we don't want to you know, kind of trip over ourselves. So they'll send the emails, they'll vet the legislation, they'll give us whatever support we need. But
so for Arizona, your goal is red light cameras, the TSA something, NDAA.
TSA, yeah. The legislation we have, and we'll be getting more information out about it, but it's going to make the you know, the growth downs and all that, and the some of the tactics they use with the naked bystander, it's going to make those illegal. So we're trying to at least work with the language that Texas gave us, and that, you know, worked for them at least getting through the House, and make sure that this has a practical application for Arizona. So I think that most people in this room would probably talk about the TSA, and I don't think any of it would be positive. And I'm here to take all your slings and arrows. So please let me know, you know, what you think, what are your concerns about working within the legislature and what we've done so far. But you know, I have yes.
I have a question. Regarding the TSA, is one of your goals to try to assert the cattle lines that you have at the airport, where you've actually got to go through all this detection bullshit? Pardon my language.
You know, the lines are the lines could be just because the whole system is inefficient. I can't talk about, you know, as far as like the physics of getting people through airport security, but what they do. What the TSA does, a police officer couldn't do. So I don't understand how any of that is legal. You have to have an X-ray of yourself taken to do anything other than get on an airplane.
And what about these ridiculous regulations, like you can't have a corkscrew in your carry-on stuff, you can't have a nail file, you can't have a Swiss Army knife, this kind of stuff? That's definitely not part of what we're going after the TSA for. That type of practice was going on in airport security before then, and frankly, I don't even know how they could claim to control all that stuff. I've seen somebody take a soda can and prove how that could be used as a weapon. So that's all kind of arbitrary regulation. What I'm most concerned about is that your Fourth Amendment is going out the window when you buy a plane ticket. That really concerns me. Here. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I haven't followed it as close as the rest of the people in the room, but it seems like the government has a pattern of coming in with administrative regulations.
Right.
And who needs Congress to pass it? Your group kind of focus on the idea. Is there a law authorizing them to be jerks? Is that a possibility?
Is there a law authorizing them to be jerks?
Well, I'm saying there's my understanding of different areas that they're passing a lot of regulations. Who needs Congress? Article 1 of the Constitution, we're Article 2 executive branch, we'll make up our own laws. Is there a possibility your organization can come in, if I'm thinking right, to come in and focus on the fact that who gave them the go-ahead to come up with all this crap?
Well, that's through the legislation.
Who's financing? You know,
that's exactly what we're doing. We're working on the state level. So if we decide as the state of Arizona and whatever jurisdictional powers we're claiming, this week or next, that we don't want these guys in our airports and we're going to bring in our own security, we can throw them out, and we can make the body scanners in particular and the gate rate, which is what it comes down to, we can make that illegal too. You get into trying to make things illegal that are already illegal, and that's a frustrating part of the process. But a lot of times you have to do it to show these people we're serious about this, because we've let it happen to ourselves, and now we have to take back that freedom that we had.
Have you heard anybody way up a little higher about this toll road scam coming?
I've been watching the news.
Remember when we got in that fight with what's his name and his Christmas party? Andy Biggs. Remember I was getting in his face about that, and he said it's libertarians that have toll roads. And I said, well, these toll roads will never be private, ever.
We get the proceeds.
The government will be involved somehow, some way.
You're playing with fire with these toll roads. If you think that they can all be private, I've seen toll roads in other states where they somehow kept the toll road private and used only private money to do it. But the way that they're bringing it about in Arizona is they've got a toll road authority that was already set up a few years ago, and they're going to funnel it through the state government. That is the plan.
It's a granting of a road monopoly.
Yeah, whether or not they're going to pull it off, I have some serious doubts about them pulling it off. We've already got organizations popping up everywhere that are against these toll roads, and they don't even have one yet.
Started that toll road fraud 4 years ago, man.
Yeah.
It came out.
Yes.
Yeah. I worked down at the airport for 8 years, and they were private security companies. We were allowed to do certain things, we were not allowed to do other things. The point of contention is that they're going into the genitalia.
Yeah.
I'm telling you exactly, they are going to the genitalia.
But they're going to start putting their hands down your pants?
They are now putting their hands
Yeah,
in
this
your
is already
pants.
happening.
This
It's already happening.
Well, I still feel ripped off, man. Even
Right now. That's what he's talking about. Number two, they are already, the freeways in California are no longer free.
No, yeah.
Right.
Toll roads.
Right. Well, so there's my understanding of the issue is that there are two ways to do a toll road, and one of them is almost always how it happens. Your money as a taxpayer, or when you register your vehicle, goes to pay for this road, for the building and the maintenance of it, and then all of a sudden there's not enough money to pay for the road anymore, and we don't know why. So we've got to hire this private company that we're going to lease the roads to for 99 years. So it's an easy lease to just overturn, right? 99 years. Or they sell it to this private company. They keep the money, and then disperse it through the state apparatus as they see fit. So you all know where that money ends up. And then you're paying for the road to drive on every time your wheels hit the road. You've got to pay a fee, or they give you the fast pass, where you have to hand over all your information to a company like, say, American Traffic Solutions, who we've been fighting on the red light camera issue. And now they've just got another layer, they're doing another layer of data mining and charging you to drive on the road that you're already actually paying for, at least in our state, with your vehicle registration fees. So it's a racket, the whole thing is. The other way to do it is to have a private company come in, fund the entire building of the road, and either lease the land from the state or buy the land, and then charge privately to go on that road. And it's not an interstate road that was already built. And again, an act of God, I think, is what it takes to get that done. I've seen it happen maybe one time in this country. There's probably more examples. Yeah.
Well, let's go and get this Joe. He's had
Yeah.
before.
I was just wondering the long road of things. I mean, yeah, of course, they're applying the Fourth Amendment to TSAs. Sounds amazing, but have you thought about like the long road, maybe privatizing or trying to push for privatization? Because I mean, if they were privatized, they could be subjected to more like a court law, privacy law. Like,
They'd write a law where you couldn't sue them.
You couldn't sue them?
They'd write a law where you couldn't sue them.
Yeah.
See, the argument is that I want fly-die airlines. You know, I want to be able to just drive on the tarmac. It used to be Southwest Airlines, used to be like that at Sky Harbor. You drove up, you walked through the metal detector, and you went on the gangplank, went up there. And I remember in the early 80s, when you did the shuttle between Boston and Washington, D.C., you got on the plane and didn't even pay until you came out of the credit card thing. That's how it used to be. You used to get on the plane like it was a bus.
Yep.
You know, I'm telling you, a lot of the young people now don't even know this. I know during the Revolution, when I was flying around in 07, 08, I saw what I saw the future was. There was this young couple, they're like mid-20s. They had their 2- and 3-year-old little daughters, you know, and son there, and you take your shoes off for the nice man, and you put them in the bucket, and you do this, and the TSA guy stand with the wand. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're a good citizen, teaching your young preschool children how to be
That's it right there.
good citizens. Okay?
Got it, Ernie.
And I'm standing there watching it. I go, this is the future. So there's no law that you're going to pass to like privatize, you know, the Gestapo salute. I mean, you know, that is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the freedom for me.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the freedom for me to go to Williams base over here where they turn it into a private whatever. I walk on the plane to issue me my 9mm because I forgot mine. If you don't have that kind of freedom, if you're not advocating for that kind of freedom, you're just advocating for the control that you're willing to license by a government and the monopoly of they get to tell me what to do. I understand you want to subject them to private whatever, they get tort or lawsuit and everything, but they'll do exactly what, you know, we've all experienced. Limited liability. That's why when we did the first TSA thing a couple of years ago, what was in our opt-out handout bags? Well, fresh new blue gloves so that, you know, your date with the TSA, they're all going about pandemic. Well, they smear this guy and then go smear this guy. And I say, can I have some fresh gloves before you smear me? Okay? Then we had DVDs that we did, and we had a Godzilla radiation. Remember those? So we had laminated, and it was Godzilla. And after Fukushima happened, I called Shelton and I go, man, you got to do it. Oh no! Major Tokyo Godzilla! Remember that song? So he took that song, made, you know, Godzilla is going over smashing Tokyo, and radiation is what supposedly brought about a Godzilla, right? He put that up, gazillion hits, and they were on his ass. I can't believe you didn't wait at least a week after Fukushima before you did that. You know? So this is the logo that we put on that badge. And it was on the back side, it said, this is your responsibility as a TSA employee. I mean, Gary and Verta were out there passing these out that day, and Donna and stuff too. So what it was a message to TSA that you're being irradiated. And they made it illegal. They do not want you, and they will not issue your senator badges. But on the back of that card, we put the company that made the senator badges, that I worked out a deal with them for $13 or something. You could wear it under your clothes and so on, then send it in, they'd give you the dosage on it. Well, some people started doing that or something because that's why they're starting to bring them out. Because they but what did they do? They limited the company liability that they weren't responsible for you dying of cancer or working by that thing. They will always limit the liability. So there is no limit of liability. There's no, stop it. Stop, because it's all going to come crashing down anyway. When the financial problems hit, when the dollar goes away, when it crashes, and it will crash, when it does, what were you advocating for? Were you advocating for not resurrecting it? Were you advocating for leave me aloneism? Were you advocating for the seceding, you know, of the... In 1994, we did an initiative, and all our citizens take initiative thing. They had a bunch of them, like 3 of them were this. One, if the United States, it was like 2 to 4 trillion or something we were in debt then. If the United States ever exceeds $9 trillion in debt, the state of Arizona secedes from the Union. No! You can't do that. Well, it'll never happen anyway. Okay, then what do you care? They freaked out. Well, who introduced it? It was some legislator, I think it was Barbara, you know, did it, you know, when she's from Dewey or something.
Karen did.
Now, the other thing that we did is we did a Declaration of Independence in '94. This is what happened. I took the Declaration of Independence where it said the king. Oh, this one you get in trouble for this one. You wind up getting
Yeah,
for
do
this.
that one, yeah.
So we took the Declaration of Independence and we took out where it said the king, and we replaced it with the federal government. And these colonies, we changed it to the state of Arizona. Okay, and every single thing applied. So what happens? You get the signature, file it, and you go out and start a couple of signatures just as an education thing. What happens if that gets on the ballot? What happens? Arizona people go, yeah, we vote, for this initiative, Declaration of Independence. Then what?
Just the fact that they read it would make
Yeah, I don't give a crap. I don't trust the voting anyway. It doesn't even matter if you get the signatures. It's the mindset. What are you asking for and why? I do not want to be ruled kinder. I do not want to be ruled in a different way. I do not want to be ruled by a private or this or that and so on. I want the freedom to be left alone, to make choices, to live with my decisions, to be responsible for, the decisions that I make and how they affect others, to be free. If you're not doing that, you're just playing their game. Stop playing their game. Les.
Well, I wanted to say about the TSA. I know most people don't travel by bus or train. But if you get on a bus now, in many areas, you're subject to the TSA.
Absolutely.
I was on the train, and in Kansas City, the TSA was coming and going through every single passenger car in there and checking luggage.
Oh,
Yeah.
And they're going through there. The only ones they didn't go through, and believe it or not, they're actually abiding by some sort of semblance of a real law. They did not go through the sleeping units because that's considered your home at that particular point. But if you had a coach seat and you had your luggage ahead you or under your suitcase, you'd get searched. And I saw them opening bags from hell to breakfast.
These people are very bored. What are there, 100,000 TSA employees?
Yep. There's a provision.
That's bigger than the two major corporations I work for combined. They've got to have something to do with their time, and with all these people, they're going to keep pushing unless we kick them out of our state and say, get out, we don't want you.
There's a provision in the original TSA bill also that allows individuals to opt out of the TSA by filing a petition. San Francisco International has opted out of that provision. San Francisco is not TSA.
Yep.
San Francisco International Airport is not TSA. That's all private security. Of course, every other day, 2 planes get hijacked and wrecked out of San Francisco. But the point being is that now if Sky Harbor applies for that waiver, which is in the law, which is in the, well, I'm not going to call it a law, which is in the TSAB, as in, it's in there that now they will not grant a waiver to anyone, even though they're supposed to.
What?
Do they take federal monies?
Well, that doesn't matter. San Francisco takes federal money also. San Francisco did it. They found out it's so successful that now they can't let anybody else do it. There's 4 other. I think there's 4 other major airports that are on. I can't remember what they are. 3 or 4 others. Maybe there's 4 total.
Real quick, I just want to say something about the TSA and this sort of thing, and then I'll take more questions until Ernie kicks me out of here. But that people naturally see is that we have a lot of fun, maybe too much fun. I just made a slide presentation about street theater and what's the #1 rule of street theater. If you're not having fun,
You're doing wrong.
I put that as every other slide. Every other slide says that. So that people get that through their head. We have lots of fun, and we use the traditional media. We find a way on it, and we get our message out that way somehow. Not everybody's very good at it. Ernie right here has pulled off one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen on cable news on CNN. And so I've learned from these things. And the other thing is, so I've heard that there's going to be some street theater or airport theater going on with TSA. So if you take my business card with the Campaign for Liberty in the back and email me, I'll let you know what street theater is going to be going on. And that's it. Any other questions?
I'll go ahead and just take their questions
Okay.
and comments.
Recently there was an Alex Jones show about
Agenda 21 and the Fed, or audit the Fed is what we say to start out with. And now red light cameras and photo radar are part of that because of what we've done in Arizona. We are trying to push back on all this federal garbage that gets kind of crammed down our throats, and to have an organized secessionist movement makes me a little nervous because I'm wondering who that's coming from. I think one state at a time, one individual at a time, we're already doing it. And so that's how I feel about that. So I think what he was what he said, he was articulating what's already been going on. And that's why I believe very much in what our organization does. Yeah, as far as, go ahead.
Take a couple more questions.
You had said you're working with the legislature to get some of this stuff done.
Yes.
And one of them was when I went to that Agenda 21 meeting, and Judy Burgess and Lori Klein were some of the big names.
Yeah.
Who, in your mind, in our legislature, are the liberty-minded people that we can get behind and support? I saw the Arizona Campaign for Liberty questionnaire that you put out, which was excellent, by the way. But even the ones that were 100% are a little neoconish. If you look at it, some of the people who answered them 100% were neoconish. But it did still separate the pack, though, to a certain degree. So who do you think are the liberty-minded people that we can go to in our legislature? Is there any one person?
No. No, there are some entryways into the legislature through some of these legislators, but a liberty-minded person in Arizona State Legislature
doesn't exist.
I don't.
Who's the most?
I can't.
There's an entryway.
There's a
maybe you can go through Judy Burgess.
There's yeah. I mean, it's. I don't see that any of these legislators we have are principled in the way that we are. So I would say a liberty-minded person that's principled like you and I are. Right now, not one of them. So we have to find the easy entryways, the people who are going to be willing to listen to us because they want to get reelected in 2 years and they see what's coming.
Who's listening on the TSA issue?
You know, right now we don't have the legislation fully written. So I mean, I couldn't tell you that we've even vetted it through one legislator yet because we don't have Photo Radar. We've got Andy Biggs is listening to us on Photo Radar. Michelle Ugenti is listening to us on Photo Radar. Frank Antonori was listening to us on Photo Radar. We're going to be.
What's the guy that's Photo Radar?
Yeah. We don't, you know, like I said earlier, we don't do compromises, and there were some compromises that started to come around, and I got a really nasty email from somebody who is now a former state legislator during the last session, and she told me flat out, "I'm not voting for your bill because you made a video that made me mad." And I said, "Well, that's great. I didn't want you to vote for my bill anyway because it had already been tinkered with. So have fun in retirement. We'll be back next year with a full ban of the cameras." So that's my mindset. And if I ever get to a point where that's not my mindset, then I'm done. I'm out.
Are any of you guys running for office? Are you guys going to, I mean, is there an effort to recruiting candidates?
Yes, well, the first major step, as I see it, was already taken with recruiting so many people who are liberty-minded to be PCs. And that was through the efforts that happened in the Ron Paul campaign. It's tough to think about going from not liking these guys at all, hating the process, hating the system, to becoming a leader just in one step. So becoming a PC and influencing the party politics is the first step. So I say that there's a couple people that I have my eye on, but right now it's all about getting into the parties and letting them know, look, we're going to be in charge now, and we're going to be kicking you guys out if you don't, listen to what we want.
I can speak about that a little bit. I'm on an email with all the liberty-minded, the Tracy Langston's, the Matt Happy's, the John Lawrence, the Annette Freeman's, all them. And they're all trying to make the change through the Republican Party. And there's definitely some changes going on. Exactly what you're saying about taking over the party, start small, and then make that, change the influence.
And think about it this way too, at least maybe you entertain this thought, is there is kind of a group that controls both parties right now. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, they're acting in much the same fashion. So, one party at a time. I'm not, the political parties, elections, what happened this year, what happens in 2014, I couldn't agree more with what Ernie said earlier. He nailed it all on the head. So, these parties, like Rand said, the GOP is, could become a dinosaur. It kind of already is. So, yes, we're working through the Republican Party, and there are some people who have their ears open. But I'd like to see more of us at least take some steps to get into leadership. But I'm already seeing it. So we've got a lot of PCs that are now working. And that's what it takes. If you do the work and you stick around until the last bad guy dies off, then you win. You know? Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob.
Trying to apply to be a PC or becoming a
See the sickness you guys are starting?
My girlfriend's a delegate for the Republican Party, so she's a Liberty caucus, but she's still a delegate. So I mean, I think that might help. I mean, how else could you help me?
Well, grab my card and contact me, but find out if you know your legislative district. Figure out where their website is or when they have their meetings. Talk to the chairman. A lot of these legislative districts, you know, they just went through the election process for the PCs too, but there's a lot of empty slots. And the chairman, they want to be the cool chairman that has all the PC slots filled. So,
Starting January, it can be written in.
Yeah.
And if you go to becomeapc.com, that's a great website.
That is a great
website. It's called becomeapc.com.
This is one thing that I want to, thanks, Ross. I need to get Frank. All right. We had this conversation many times before. The precinct system was created by the parties to be entwined with the government. You know, we fought decades of a Cold War to prevent what happened, parties of the state. So what they do to the parties, and that's what this Prop 121 thing was about that went down in flames, okay? Hell no, we don't want to have this hop to everybody's treated equal as individuals. No, we want to have a party control thing. Well, this is what happened. In the late 70s, it's a long story, bottom line was this. They took Title 16, they threw it in the trash, and they rewrote it as the Anti-Communist Party Bill. They banned the Communist Party. It is illegal in Arizona to have a Communist Party because they call it the Republican Democrat two-party system, okay? So they didn't want to have you over here because they wanted you in the fascist, communist, whatever collective thing that they got. In that process, they took the precinct committeemen and made them a part of the actual government-funded ballot system in the primary. So the parties have become part of the government. So when you go to be a precinct committeeman, you're going into an election that's paid for by the taxpayer. It's like taxpayers paying for JC's and Kiwanis Club elections. So that was part of my lawsuit. So I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? How are they not? And then as an independent, I'm forced to pay for this election that pays for them selecting their internal leadership. I got taxation without representation. How the hell did that happen?
It's all insane.
So I mean, it's just so this whole system is predicated on the idea that somehow, by participating in it, then you control candidates, legislation, policy, party, all that, which couldn't be further from the truth. You, as a candidate, do not go to the party here in Arizona. You go to the Secretary of State or County Recorder and fill out your voter registration, say, I'm a Republican, Zeke Heil, and I go and I run as whatever. So what role did the precinct committeemen have in that process? Zero. But they want you to believe that you do. Then when you have your election, who be delegates to go to Tampa and all, I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. Because I think that you're right, you're going to see a big change in leadership. And part of my lawsuit in the 90s, when all the way to the 9th Circuit, was, in Arizona the law was shall. There's may and shall. Shall is you got it, okay? Each one of the precinct committeeman slots shall be filled by either election or by appointment of the county chairmen and so on. And it goes to the county board of supervisors and then sign off, blah, blah, blah. It's all official, okay? If they don't do it, then are they a party? I was saying, well, it says they shall, they didn't. They shouldn't be a recognized party anymore. Well, unless we feel like it. Oh, okay, so that's how it works. The game that they play to give you the illusion of choice and influence and power when they already have the candidates right now that they're going to run for all the slots next time. It's already decided.
Yeah. We're already too late for 24.
So we come in and we make fun of them. No. My point is that what is the most effective thing that you can do over the next 2 years is to continue the education, the awareness, and the understanding of what's really happening as, boom, the zombie apocalypse slaps you upside the head. So, running candidates, precinct committeemen, run for office. Get up there, do it, say, Precinct, I'm a PC. Who cares? Okay? Now, if you're a PC running for state legislature, if you're going to go ahead and, as a Republican, going to run for House of Representatives, just to be in and do and pass out and talk to people, do it, man, 2 thumbs up, family, good fun. Go. Do it. Knock yourself out. Get in the debate. Process, what they're saying and have them process what you're saying. So that is what I encourage you to do. Get involved. But the precinct committeeman thing, you're going to find out you are rapidly going to be in charge of a boat without a motor. And you're going to be sitting in the current. We're in charge of our boat. And it's going to go over the cliff. And then what? So I warn you, if you get inside, and all you guys, how many of you are going to Republican Party meetings or precinct committee men and district meetings? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. I know a bunch of you guys are. Where's Renee? Yeah, okay, come on.
Wait, I don't want to.
How far off am I? This whole thing is you're going to be in charge of what? Get in the process and start running. And just to make it of how bullshit this whole thing is, Mark Victor in CD9 is a Republican. And do you think he's going to win? I don't care.
It'll be fun.
Oh, it's going to be fun. And what happens when Ron Paul lays hands on it? Then what? What happens? I don't know, but I want to find out. You see my point? There is going to be a massive shift. It's already happened. And all of the manifestations of that shift that you see in all these low positions and shiny badges everybody's getting doesn't have the impact on it than it does just those people that are talking to friends and neighbors and family. Letting people know what's going on. Understanding what they need to do just to survive. This is what's going to change. And I wanted to make sure you guys understood, the young guys, is that it's already happened at the highest and the lowest levels. At the highest levels, you have Dice and Hall and Kucinich and everything focusing on one major thing: the wars. Yeah, we blame you. You act like it's not your phone, but you know. So this is why you guys are going to get involved in more the cultural aspect of this. You hear me screaming it all the time, and I'll sit there and show you, and we'll give you examples of it, and it still just doesn't register. Yeah, but shiny badge. It's not the shiny badge. It's what you do with whatever resources that you have. Maybe with a shiny badge. It's out on the overpasses, native, whatever that we do. We want to help. We have a lot of resources. We make T-shirts. We do the signs. We have the DVD duplicators. We do 300-400 DVDs an hour. We have the radio show, Freedom's Phoenix, special edition. All this stuff, the magazine, everything that we have to be able to help them. We're going to start bringing it back. Freedom's Phoenix we've been scattered all over the place, and I keep trying to pull it back and pull it back and pull it back. They keep trying to pull me out, pull me out, pull me out. No, I'm pulling it. You're lucky I'm going to be focused on Arizona instead of like Panama or Ecuador. Seriously, I'm like, at what point do you kind of go, damn, we're 1938 and a half Nazi Germany, it's time to freaking go. When do you do that? When do you have an obligation to your grandkids and your kids to create a place for them just to not die? How far out in the desert do we have to go? Don and I have been looking for land. We're just kind of, I don't think there is a safe place. And then you start to find out there isn't a safe place on the planet.
Yep.
Where is it? It's here.
Yep.
We went all around the country this summer just to try and see, is there a place? Yes, it's here. You're free here. First. One last thing I want to bring up. And Donna a chance to talk about, the party. When get ready to say something about the party. That means talk. Okay. We had at our newsletter, or Sunburst Farms, where we're at. It's not really a homeowner association. It's like an irrigation group or something where we get irrigation, and they have a newsletter. And they said the irrigation association or whatever said, look, we're going to give out 100 Christmas lights to anyone that wants them, just so you'll put them up. Nobody's putting them up.
Yeah.
Just so you'll put them up. They said for the past couple of years, and we noticed it, we put like little Christmas lights around the front door, hey, yeah, it's Christmas. Yeah. But, these nice big homes, people used to be just big decorated up there. In the last couple of years, have you noticed There's been a way slump in putting up stuff.
It's Ramadan.
It's just don't give a crap. Okay? It's an economic problem. It's a spiritual problem. It's a positive attitude, optimistic problem. It's a we don't care problem. You know, there is going to be a resurrection of our culture and society as individuals that we get to brand what's important and not what Hallmark commercial says is.
That's right.
This is, I mean, when they started doing Grandparents' Day, Grandparent Hallmark Day, they were trying to create that before. I remember when I was a little kid, I was driving with my family and we could see off in kind of a cornfield or whatever over there in Florida, it was a field, and they had big signs that said Kids Day. And it was a little carnival, Ferris wheel, whatever. Oh, Dad, it's Kids Day, it's Kids Day, stop, it's Kids Day. It's Kids Day, it's Kids Day, we gotta stop by Kids Day. And he goes, every day's Kids Day. You ain't going, you know, I'm like, yeah, good point, okay? So we are going to have a celebration this Saturday. We're going to, normally we just kind of put it up to everybody, but we're going to invite a lot of, just everybody, Readers, Phoenix, and so on. But we're also going to invite a lot of our personal friends specifically. So it's going to be a party for our friends, and you're invited, okay? Because some of you are friends. So all right, most of you. Except Pat. Anyway, and Pat used to put up, had really nice parties every year too. We used to go to in the spring. That was really nice. So what we're going to do is have this party, but it's just going to be relaxing, no politics. We're going to put up some lights. It's going to be try and bring back some of the Christmas, just have a good time. And as libertarians, we have to call it a Christmas party if we want to.
For those of you who don't know, I'm Donna Hancock, and I pass these out.
Pretty hot, huh?
It's an invitation to our Christmas party we have there. Well, we don't have it every year. For the past couple of years, so we have. It's going to be next Saturday, our house, 6:30 p.m., and it's potluck. So just bring something to share. I'm going to make a couple turkeys. I got 3 free turkeys from Winco this past November. I'm sorry, but anyway, so I got to use them up. So I'm going to do turkey and fixings and stuff. And for those of you that have been to my house, I have coolers and stuff. There's one for beer. There's one for.
Berta always brings something.
Yeah, Berta always helps. Thank you very much, Berta. But anyway, you're all welcome to come. If you didn't get one of these, it's on the meetup, or you can just call me or ask me. If you don't know where we live, most of you do. But I hope you can come. It'll be fun. Okay. And there will be politics. It's always fun. We're not going to do a white elephant gift this year, but we may have a gift to raffle off.
Just real quick, if you aren't aware, I was arrested a few weeks ago
again
for disorderly conduct. I'm such a criminal. And Renee was also arrested for some bogus bullshit. She got 3 charges put on her. So we decided we're going to try to do a fundraiser, Patriot Roast, award ceremony, and award some of the people and the activists around Arizona. And it's going to be on the 15th. And we're selling tickets to this thing. It's a fundraiser. We got awards we're going to pass out, prizes. It's free food with the purchase of a ticket. And anybody who wants to come up and get a ticket and know a little bit more about it, we put a flyer on the table. And if anybody wants to come get a ticket, come contact me or Michelle.
How much is the ticket?
$30. Includes your food. And you get a DVD, best of DVD that we got. And there's some other ones you can get a shirt and a $44.99 Santa hat.
Oh, the Santa hat? Oh, man, I still want one. Right? You got drawers.
Yeah, we'll do the books first.
We'll take that silver coin if you win that.
And then we'll do the books first, and then we'll do Ernie's in the order of the
yeah, we'll do the coin last.
Do the coin last.
Okay, you want me to go ahead and draw? Are you already did draws?
No, I haven't done any drawing. We'll have some celebrities to draw here.
Okay, we're going to do 6, 3 books, and then we'll do the 3 other prizes.
4, 9.
I'll do that. Very good. Okay.
We got the first 2 numbers right. Come on. 4, 9, what?
This is for the books back there in the corner. First choice. 320. 320. Monday, Tuesday. Hey, right here.
Well, there's two books back there. Go.
Yeah, there's a box in there, a plastic box in on the table.
Too bad.
Okay, enjoy it. Second chance. 3198. 3198. Book.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Last chance on the book. 3212.
Okay, now let's go ahead and put.
I'm gonna put these back in,
Right.
and then we'll do another drawing.
Okay, so you guys that just won have a chance to win the other stuff too. Okay, let me go ahead and get these two movie posters. Are they back here? Okay, one is, you get the first one that wins here, gets the choice of the Atlas Shrugged or Who is John Galt? Okay, these are original movie posters from the first Atlas Shrugged movie. These are very valuable, in my opinion.
Okay, the first one. 3213.
Oh, yeah. Atlas Shrugged or Who is John Galt? One says Who is John Galt, and one says the Atlas Shrugged logo. All right, next one.
3215.
There you go. Who is John Galt? All right, now this one is for an ounce of silver. Freedom's Phoenix medallion.
Everybody take a deep breath. And
only
look at
people we
your
know are
card,
gonna
take it, and if it says 3188, it's yours. Thank all you guys for coming. Hope you enjoyed it and had a good time.
Oh, what is the date for the next, what does that fall on, the first Saturday?
January 5th.
January 5th?
First is Tuesday.
Okay, so that's all right. All right, we'll meet first Saturday of January. See you then.
Can I have 10 seconds? Thank you. Just real quick. For those, I talked about Kamenon coming out. According to my technicians, all those, that group that shall remain anonymous, Kamenon is supposed to be out this Friday.
What is Kamenon?
Kamenon is, it's a smartphone application to annihilate all the police departments in the country.
Yeah.
So,
it takes instant video that goes up to the web, kind of like quick video, but part of the aspects of it is that it belongs to an organization. That means that if they alter the video or take it or come after or whatever, it gives standing to all member journalist associations of the application to give them standing to file suit against the police.
So when you see one of those YouTube videos and nothing happens to the cops, it's because they never got it in the evidence. Because the guy that did it wouldn't put it in. So everybody that watches it has standing to enter it in the evidence and to sue the cop individually. So the idea being when a cop acts like a cop, which is a really stupid thing to do, we'll all be able to sue him personally, wipe him out, take his pension, shut down that police department.
Has it been tested legally?
Doesn't matter.
Right?
The first time you start to get pressed and piss off somebody to do something, you know.
Yeah.
You deliberately ducked.
What's that? Yeah, it's the website is Kamenon.com, CAMANON.com, and it should be out Friday, according to that group that remains anonymous. It's going to be put out.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully you make it next Saturday.
Thanks for coming.